I'm very excited to present Bob the Bot. Bob was developed here at Sela, and the purpose of Bob is to give you the opportunity to experiment with different large language models from all major cloud providers like AWS Bedrock, Google Vertex, and many more. You'll be able to experiment with different features and developments regarding large language models like RAG systems for data retrieval, like agents for executing long running tasks, for communicating with SQL databases, or conducting web research. With that said, Bob is an experimental tool for demo purposes. Do not share your sensitive data here, and do not treat it as a production system. It's a showcase of abilities to give you an idea of what can be done and what can be achieved. If you would like to test Bob and play with it on your own, please leave a message either by email or by the website, and we'll be happy to give you an access to Bob to play with it. So, the first thing you need to do when you start work with Bob is basically to log in into Bob. So, after you logged in, there are two main entities you need to be aware of when using Bob. One of them is the language model, and the other one is the data source. So when selecting a data source, you need to provide several fields of information for it. For example, if you choose to interact with your GitHub repository, you will need to provide a URL, a display name, which is common across all data sources. It's just basically a free text for you to be able to identify your data source. And also you need to select a branch and add an API key. Another interesting data source here is Image Analyzer, which basically interacts with images. What it does, it gets an image, it reads the contents of it, and then you'll be able to ask questions about it. Currently, it only works with OpenAI vision models, so please select this model when interacting with this, or with Room Maker or SOW Maker. Each of them has an explanation inside the data source about what's the purpose of it and which fields are required. Web search will conduct a web search using search engines like Google or Bing or DuckDuckGo, depends on the configuration of the tool. It will require a Serper API key, which can be obtained here for free. So take it, use it, and paste it here. You can interact with local files, with CSV files, with SQL databases, but be careful when using this feature because it might overload your database or perform some unexpected actions. Do not use it on production databases. This is very important. URL can scrape URLs with the usage of AI. It will basically scrape the URL, then it will find the links inside the URL, rate them according to the relevance of the questions and the topics, and then continue scraping and dig deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. If you provide a YouTube URL here, it will get the text from the video, and then you'll be able to ask questions about it and interact with it. So, how does it look? If you don't select any data source and you just leave it on none, you will get a vanilla implementation of the language model. You'll be able to ask questions, and it will be connected to the internet for presenting current world events like the current price of Tesla stock. If you decide to connect it to a GitHub repository, for example, you need to select GitHub here, and then you need to select the GitHub repository. You can have several of them, so you need to select. If none is selected, the results will be far from optimal. Once you selected, click Save. Some data sources allow you to select multiple data sources, and then you'll be able to select few of them. If it doesn't support each time you select a data source, the other one will be deselected. So when we asked it what does the application do, it was able to actually understand the context of the entire repository and get all the features of the application. Same goes for web research, which was able to conduct a short research about Apple Vision Pro and create a blog post about it. Here it was connected to a YouTube URL regarding climate changes. Again, it was able to get all the text embedded into a database. We are using ChromaDB here for those who are interested, and open source embedding models. So you can ask questions about it. Same goes for a file. The results will be displayed in a readable format for as much as possible. And here, for example, I used image analyzer, which can be only used with OpenAI Vision. When you select it, you must select the source. It goes for everything. What was taken here is a screenshot from the browser of search results from Google website. And then I was able to ask questions about it. It's very useful when interacting with sources which are graphical, like, for example, a salary printout where it has tables and different structures. This is probably the most efficient way to interact with those sort of documents. Thank you very much for watching. Those of you who wish to try this on your own, you are most welcome. Please leave a message on the website or send me an email or find me on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to give you the opportunity to test it on your own. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next weeks with more features and more implementations of large language models. Take care.